Okay, so here's how most people expect a relationship to unfold. First, we start off in the relationship we've just met. It's in the honeymoon phase. Everything's very exciting. There's a lot of love, a lot of connection. It feels really good. Both people feel like they're thriving. Then over time, what happens is both people in the romantic relationship become more and more disconnected. There are more and more issues. There is more and more distance. Both people naturally just grow apart. And so the solution is one of two things. Either both people compromise on things that are really important for them and we just change our mindset to accept that that is just how a relationship is, or we break up and we go search for someone new who will be able to meet us as we are at this moment of our personal growth and evolution. Alternatively, here is how I suggest you approach romantic relationships. It is, yes, at the beginning, everything is fireworks and there's a lot of love, a lot of connection. It feels very exciting because you're in the honeymoon phase and because everything is new. But then over time, you and your partner learn and access deeper layers to your relationship and to yourselves, which allows both of you to grow. It allows your relational capacity to grow, and you get to experience deeper and higher as well as better iterations of a romantic relationship. So most people, because they think that there's a problem because you're growing apart and because you expect yourselves to remain the same and because you don't know how to access deeper layers to your relational capacity as well as to yourselves, what happens is you then go and find another person and you repeat the same cycle. You get to the same bottleneck of your relationships and you keep thinking, I just need to find the right person, or this is just how relationships are. We're always going to grow apart at some stage. But when you learn to actually solve the issue, which is learning how to go deeper into your own capacity for relationship, and you learn how to do that with another person, this allows you not needing to find it in someone else, you find it within yourself. You find it within your relationship. You go deeper. You access a higher relationship, a better relationship over time. That allows both people to grow and evolve as well as your relationship to grow and evolve. And it allows you to experience a mind-blowing version of a relationship that you never knew was possible. Because whatever you're desiring in your relationship today should be different in the future because you've grown and learned more about yourself and learned more about what's possible in the relationship. The point of a relationship is that you and the other person together, you create and co-create and collaborate to come up with something that you would never be able to access if it were just you trying to create that thing. It is because you are two different people coming together. Something else, a third idea, a third opportunity presents itself because of the combination of you two together. Now then we add in time, and over time we keep experiencing these new opportunities together. This is what a romantic relationship is able to look like, but most people will never ever get there because they believe that when there is a roadblock and when it starts to feel boring, that means something's wrong in the relationship or we just need to change our mindset and compromise. This is not how we're teaching relationships over here at Relate Higher. Welcome to Relate Higher, a podcast dedicated to providing the leading standard in conscious higher relating and to teaching you a conscious framework for all of your relationships. This is your go-to resource for developing meaningful, conscious relationships across your life. I'm your host, award-winning relationship coach and consultant and former family lawyer, Letitia Ringe. I'm so glad you're here. All right, everybody, welcome to our series 3 on Relate Higher and on this podcast. In Series 3, we are diving into conscious romantic relationships. You're going to learn how to create thriving, great, successful romantic relationships in your life that get better, deeper, and higher over time, that support both you and your partner's growth, purpose, and potential, and truly allow both of you to thrive no matter what the season is of your life. This is what we're committed to teaching here at Relate Higher. And on this series of the podcast, you will learn the 6 C's to creating that kind of romantic relationship. Now, it's really important for you to understand what these 6 C's are and to understand what a conscious romantic relationship looks like and how to be in one, no matter where you're at in your romantic life right now, whether you're single or in a relationship. It's really important that you understand what it looks like, because obviously if you're in a relationship, you can now enter the conscious season of your romantic relationship. And if you're not in a relationship right now, you will know how to create a successful, thriving relationship using a conscious approach. Because the truth is, we all think we just need to find the right person and then the relationship will be great and you'll never have any problems again that are long-standing. But great relationships are created, they are not found. And so you'll learn in this series on the podcast what the 6 C's are to creating a conscious, thriving romantic relationship. Now, in this episode on the podcast, you're going to learn what a conscious relationship is and how that is different to how most people approach their romantic relationships. I'll then be introducing you to the 6 C's of a conscious romantic relationship, which is what we will be exploring in this series on the podcast. So first things first, what is a conscious romantic relationship? There are 5 things you need to know. First of all, a conscious romantic relationship is a relationship in which both people in the romantic relationship approach the relationship consciously. This is what the work is in a romantic relationship, and it is ongoing, it is daily, it is moment to moment. This is where you move from default, unconscious ways of relating into being conscious, which means approaching the relationship and your partner and yourself from love rather than fear, from a place of awareness rather than little to no awareness, and with intention. And intentions that are truly aligned with you and your partner and where you're at in your relationship and your lives right now, that are meaningful, that really support you to create the relationship that you both desire. Secondly, a conscious romantic relationship is a relationship where both parties in the relationship recognize that the relationship itself is a third entity. So in a romantic relationship, there is you, there is your partner, and then there is the relationship itself. You, your partner, and the relationship all have different needs and desires, and each of these different entities need to be nurtured in order to create a thriving romantic relationship. Thirdly, in a conscious romantic relationship, we recognize that each person in the relationship has 3 different systems that make up their humanity that all need to be tended to in different ways in order to create a thriving romantic relationship. These 3 different systems are your mind, your body, and your intuition or your soul. Each of these speak in different languages and they all need to be tended to in different ways. In a romantic relationship, usually there is no awareness of this, and so we simply try to unconsciously support the relationship, usually just focusing on one of these 3, and it's usually your mind. And in fact, most romantic relationships, people aren't even working on the mind level in a way that actually works for the mind either. Not everybody has an understanding of mindset and how we can choose our thoughts and beliefs and how we want to choose thoughts and beliefs that are supportive and are aligned with what we want to create. So being in a conscious romantic relationship is about understanding that your mindset needs to be cared for, and also your physical body and nervous systems and the way they're relating with each other, as well as the way you're supporting your body and your nervous system, need to be tended to in a physical way that supports your physical body, which is very different to the way we work with the mind. And then there's your soul and your intuition, which needs to be nurtured. Otherwise, it will scream at both of you and will cause problems outcomes in the relationship. Fourthly, in a conscious romantic relationship, we are creating a relationship that supports your purpose and potential as individuals, that allows both of you to feel safe and secure, and that also supports your relational needs and desires in a romantic capacity. Fifth and finally, a conscious romantic relationship is going to allow both you and your partner to understand more about yourselves as individuals. It will allow you to expand your capacity for a relationship so that you are truly experiencing a version of a relationship that once upon a time would have been mind-blowing. You wouldn't have been able to come up with, imagine what is possible within your romantic relationship because you only got there through the relationship itself, which means your romantic relationship becomes a place of collaboration. It is a place where you get to new and surprising places because of your collaboration together. Okay, now let's talk about what a romantic relationship usually looks like. So the way that we tend to approach romantic relationships as people are, first of all, we approach the relationship unconsciously. We are in our default relational tendencies, which come from fear and protection, which are with little awareness or even no awareness, and usually without any intentions. How many of you have very specific agreements for your romantic relationships? How many of you know how to approach conflict and arguments with your partner? How many of you know what your needs and desires are and have discussed that with your partner and know how to have them met through your intentions in the relationship? How many of you, when you choose to move in with each other or get married or have children, have specific intentions as a couple for what you are creating together? Very few people have this, and that is normal, but the standard for what is expected in a relationship is usually not the standard that anyone actually wants to create. So we need to do things differently, and that's what we're teaching you here through Relate Higher. Secondly, most people put the issues that come up in the relationship between each other. And so it also means that your needs and desires as individuals are seen as in opposition of each other. Someone always has to compromise. Rather than seeing your needs and desires as people, as well as the needs and desires as a relationship, as being an opportunity for collaboration, where a new solution is presented that you would never have been able to access had it not been for the different needs and desires between you and your partner and the relationship. So you're able to access a deeper layer to yourself as people because of the relationship. Most people see the resistance or the opposition as simply a problem, and so we simply compromise or we change our mindset and just get used to whatever's happening in the relationship, and then we never get to access that other solution, that other layer to ourselves, that other layer to our relational capacity. Thirdly, as I mentioned earlier, most people approach their romantic relationships without tending to the three systems within each person in the relationship. So there's little awareness that our mind, body, and our intuition or soul need to be nurtured to and spoken to in different ways. There's very little awareness as to the impact of the physical body on the relationship. When you and your partner are in a relationship pattern and a way of relating, a dynamic, that has taken shape in your body, and your body is actually triggering you back into those old unconscious ways of relating without you even being aware of it. And so in order to change that, you got to work with your body in the way that the body needs to be worked with, and you also need to work with your mind in the way that the mind needs to work with. Your soul, your intuition also needs to be supported and nurtured, because as I mentioned before, unless you haven't noticed, when you're not tending to what deeply you desire as a human from that soul, intuitive, inner voice level, it will scream louder and lead you to do things in the end that might be really overwhelming. So we need to learn to have a conversation with our intuition, our soul on a regular basis so that we can bring that into the relationship, have it be seen, and have it guide us as we move forward as a unit. Fourthly, in a romantic relationship, usually we see each other's purpose and potential as being against the romantic relationship, as in one or both people can't be aligned with their purpose and potential. We will grow apart because the relationship is seen as being in opposition to that individual path, rather than seeing your purpose and potential and the relationship as being a supporter of that. When you approach a relationship consciously, the relationship becomes a place where you get to mirror where you're being limited and how you can grow and expand, and then move that into all the other areas of your life, as well as being able to understand your purpose and potential in a deeper way. Additionally, usually most people in their romantic relationship are actually not feeling safe and secure. This means that you're not accessing the independence, as well as the creativity, as well as the confidence and the risk taking that is possible when you're feeling safe and secure within a relationship. And finally, when it comes to your needs and desires, you see tending to the needs and desires of each person in the relationship romantically as being in opposition to each other and therefore impossible to meet, rather than seeing the opportunities that are available to you as individuals when you learn how to meet your own needs and desires and also meet your partner's needs and desires in the way that is appropriate for you and your partner. Fifth and finally, most people in a romantic relationship avoid understanding themselves more deeply, avoid exploring their relational capacity, and also very rarely access the new, exciting, and creative ways to live their life and be in relationship that is a result of the relationship. So it does feel like you're growing apart, rather than you're growing apart being the very thing that allows you to access a new layer to yourself and the relationship. Okay, so how do we create a conscious romantic relationship? In this third series on the podcast, we'll be diving in each episode to the 6 C's to creating a conscious romantic relationship. The 6 C's are commitment. They are communication, conflict, connection, collaboration, and consciousness. You need to tend to all 6 of these areas in order to step into conscious romantic relationship together. So that's what we'll be exploring on this season of Relate Higher, and I so look forward to sharing all of this information as we move forward. Now, if at any point through this series you would like personalized support to support you as you step into, create, or align yourself with a conscious romantic relationship, whether you're in a relationship right now or whether you're single, I work with individuals and couples, whether you're single or in a relationship, in my Conscious Relationship Coaching Program. In this program, you get tailored and a unique, completely bespoke coaching program to meet you where you are right now in the relationship cycle, and to teach you the skills that you need to support your romantic relationship so that you are thriving, so that it's successful, and so that you have the skills to get deeper, higher, and better in your romantic life and relationship over time. Once you learn these skills, you have them for life, and they support you in every other relationship in your life, as well as in every other area of your life. This is deep work. It's truly life-changing, and it's some of the best work you'll ever do. You can find out more about that and apply at relatehigher.com/CRCP. All right, my beautiful friends, I'll see you in the next episode, where we'll be talking about the first C to a conscious romantic relationship, which is all about commitment. I'll see you there. Thank you for listening to Relate Higher, your go-to resource for learning how to consciously approach all of your relationships. To deepen your learning and practice, make sure you're subscribed to receive the Relate Higher community newsletter. This is a weekly newsletter sent to you every Monday, providing further coaching and education to support your relationships. Subscribe at relatehigher.com/community. And if you haven't yet left a 5-star review for the podcast, we ask that you please do that now, so that this podcast can reach other listeners who also want to learn and practice conscious higher relating. Because remember, the more people who learn, the better relationships we all enjoy.